The site, Laval Stadium, for these Long Island Championships, a battle of our top 14 teams, both ends of the spectrum. The Dalers of Farmingdale, number 14, out of Nassau County, taking on number 1, the Lions of West Islip, out of Suffolk County, in a game year in and year out that matches up Nassau versus Suffolk for the right to be called a Long Island champ and move on to the New York State semifinals. Two teams who battled their way through county championships to get to this event. We will start in the Nassau Championships. Massapequa taking on Farmingdale. What a day it was for Massapequa's Jamie Shan, the Merrimack Bound senior. 5-3 on the day. Massapequa was in control of this game 12-10. But here comes King Tut. Sally Tuttle ties this game at 12. And in the end, the Dalers, Patty Stark on the rush, up a goal late, make it 2. That's the difference in the game, 15-13. Farmingdale, back-to-back Nassau County titles. They were moving on to the Long Island Championships. How about Suffolk? Smithtown West and West Islip. Wild game. Connor Bradish would make it 9-2 West Islip. Start the bus for Smithtown West, right? No siree, because Duke-bound Kyle Keenan, an 8-point game, would tie the game at 11. They'd go to overtime. They came all the way back to the Bulls, and in the overtime, it looked like it was over right here, but then Kyle Turry, look at the keeper from Duke. This one, Patty, is worth another look.
You got to just look at this. Look at the breakdown by Turry. Follows the stick of James Pennell. Not only makes the save, possesses it, clears the ball, and then we have this.
A little pass to the inside. It's missed, but on the doorstep. Oh, the junior Brendan Smith. You'll never score a bigger goal than that. Ball game. West Islip wins it again. They were moving on to the Long Island Championship to take on Bob Hartraft, 42-year skipper for the Dalers of Farmingdale. Legendary coach, 651 wins out of Oswego High School in upstate New York. Was a basketball and baseball guy all life. And then he came to Long Island and discovered the game of the lacrosse. The rest, as they say, is history. His starters for these Dalers in this game: Sally Tuttle, Hendrickson, Prendergast, one of the best attack trios you will see on the high school level. The middies, Catalano, Brown, and Stark. The defense, Shellhorn, Ward, and the all-world Joey Ostrander. You're going to like him. And the keeper for the Dalers, the senior goalie, rock-solid season, 7 saves for Mikey Palmer in the Nassau County Championships. On the other side, the 1972 graduate of West Islip High School, Scotty Craig, in his 24th season. He is dominating the scene now, folks. He's won 8 straight Suffolk County Championships, and he's been to this game 6 of the last 7 years. Guess what his record is in those games? 6-0. His starters, Smith, Federico, and more. These are all accomplished lacrosse players who grow up in West Islip. Aponte, Bradish, and Sagal. The defense, Weisbecker, Burns, and Kyle Carrick, who runs the whole show. And the keeper, well, next year he'll be at Duke University joining his brother Justin. But for now, he is really rocking and rolling. Kyle Turry, 14 saves in the Suffolk Championship. A long Suffolk County season in Class A boils down to this. The Long Island Championships are underway from Stony Brook University, and right off the draw, the Dalers will have possession. Spectacular Saturday afternoon at Stony Brook University. Can't ask for better weather for a championship game. Perettine now, and the Dalers, boy, they would love to jump on West Islip early and give him a little something to think about. Here's Hendrickson now. Got a lot of moves in his arsenal. Turns and fires. That one is wide. Tuttle's backing it up, and they'll keep possession.
You know, Jimmy, off that first face-off win by Patrick Stark, nice job. You watched the lineup and the alignment on the draw for West Islip. Not that they were conceding the draw, but they believe, from what you can see on the field, that Farmingdale has an advantage at the X in the middle of the field, and they're playing it defensively.
So the Dalers go back to work. Pat Stark now. Stark looking to turn top side. Pushed off, turns, fires one. Turry sees it all the way. Very tough to beat the senior goalie, the captain.
Strong move by Stark here, makes the turn. Good push by the defense, gets it out, and Turry sees it the whole way.
Sal Tuttle just hit a pipe, and it came right back out. Prendergast now on the rebound. Prendergast taking a look up front. And they'll settle it on the stick of Perettine. This now is Prendergast.
Now, Jim, you have to think about last year. You have to think about that Long Island Championship. You know what's been weighing on Farmingdale's mind since last year.
Perettine now pushed back off. It's a game they lost 13-1. They didn't score for over 40 minutes in the game. But the nucleus of that team is back now. Those juniors turned to seniors. One of those guys is Hofstra-bound Corey Hendrickson, who flips it to his brothers. His buddy, Sally Tuttle. Tuttle now got an opportunity here. And this one sails high and wide. It'll stay with Green.
And Jim, I think your point is really where we were going with that. They've had a year to think about that. They, as we see the replay here, Tuttle hitting the post on the far side. Don't know if Torrey was able to pick it up. But what we had was a situation where a great West Islip team had their great day, and a good Farmingdale team had a bad day. And they're looking to kind of make up for that today as they face West Islip again in the rematch.
Here's a shot off the stick of Patty Stark, who had time and space, but it sailed off the top of his stick. So good possession here for Farmingdale. They already have 5 shots on the board. In over 2 minutes, they've held this ball. Here's Tuttle now. Spins and fires it home. King Tut opens the scoring in the Long Island Championship. Sal Tuttle, the Hofstra-bound senior, makes it 1-0 Dalers.
This is a move we've seen from Sal Tuttle again and again, and we'll see a whole handful of them today. But he makes this nice, strong right-hand move from behind the goal. You see the left to right, gets a defender on his hip. He's able to turn that corner without really having his defender beat, almost shoots around him. Defender's got pretty good position, shoots around himself and the defender. Tough for the goalie to pick up, puts it on the far side and beats Torrey for the 1-0 lead.
Off the draw, Pat, they had the ball for 2 minutes and 26 seconds, and they come away with a goal. That is good ball management. And now Drew Federico and company. Here's Federico now, a little giddy up in his step. First look for West Islip at this Dalers defense. And now we have a whistle. And we're going to have a penalty here. It looks like it's on Corey Hendrickson, so Bob Hartraft is going to be a man down. Or is it Joe Ostrander? Yes, it is. It is Joe.
Yeah, I think they got Ostrander with something off the ball. They called him for a slash. He wasn't covering the ball, but the way this West Islip team moves without the ball, very often you'll get stuff inside.
Here's shot, never gets to the keeper, and he comes up big. Mike Palmer went down and got it. What a save by Palmer off a blast from Tommy Moore.
Good look at the goal by Tommy Moore.
Taylor's a little trouble on the clear, and they'll get a timeout. Fortunate that they did. Tommy Moore had a great look at Mike Palmer, and the senior came up big.
Good skip pass. Tommy Moore gets a good look at it, but Mike Palmer makes himself big to the ball. Good strong step, not much to shoot at, kind of a low-to-low shot. Tommy Moore might want to have that one back and place it a little bit better. Then the turnover, ball on the ground in the middle of the field. Coach Hartraft wants to make, Coach Hartraft wants to make the most of this possession on the clear as they come up with the ball, and they want to make sure they don't turn it over in their own end of the field.
So the Dalers of Farmingdale, imagine this, went over 40 minutes without a goal in this game a year ago against this very same team. To get that early goal, Pat's got to feel good for this group. They were here in 2003 in the Long Island Championship with a legendary team. Bob Hartraft was, of course, their legendary coach. They were taking on Smithtown early on. Farmingdale, this team was unstoppable on Long Island soil. Johnny Engelkey, the Townsend-bound senior, got it. 3-0 Farmingdale. Smithtown would try to make it interesting. Tommy Burke would score. On the pole, finds it. But on this day, one of the greatest players Long Island has ever seen, Matt Danowski, the Duke-bound senior. Danowski, dominant. Behind the back, 6 goals for Matty D. Farmingdale was moving on with that win over Smithtown, and Coach Hartraft, he got the bucket. That team, so dynamic. Danowski, Johnny Engelke, Danny Brennan, who won 2 titles at Syracuse, Steve Panarelli, Will Presti. The only blemish for Coach Hartraft that year was the state championship loss to the Wildcats of West Genesee. Game tied at 10 off a timeout. The Dalers get a great look to end the game. Ball goes off the crossbar, bounces out to midfield. West Genny picks it up and puts it home. They lose 11-10 with one of the most dynamic teams Long Island has ever seen not to win a title.
That West Genesee team has been a thorn in the side of so many Long Island teams in the state tournament.
Federico fires a shot off the ground ball, no good. So 4 minutes in the books here, first quarter. West Islip down a goal.
Penalty's over, Jim. We're going to be even strength now. See what West Islip can put together on the offense.
Now Nicky Aponte. Up top they go to Connor Bradish, the senior. Bradish now turns back to his right hand. Drops it off. Tommy Moore now looking for a cutter. Ill-advised pass. And it's picked off. Well done that time by the defense. Navreet Taliwal, the sophomore defender. Huge spot for him, but he made a great play right there. And now the loose ball wind up on the stick of Palmer. Up ahead to Trevor Correo. Correo in all kinds of trouble with the pressure. And the Lions come away with it. Once again, beautifully done. Kevin Wall on defense. They turn him over. This now is Brian Prendergast. Prendergast, the Dalers are in motion. This is where they're at their best. Hendrickson fires one wide. You have to like the tempo that Bob Hartraft's team is setting early on. Sal Tuttle, sneaky bouncer. Hendrickson nearly put it in. It was on the side of the net.
A little sloppy here early, Jim. You know, both teams looking to try to press the pace a little bit, and they're getting sloppy. Things are just not quite in sync. Much like a heavyweight fight, you got to get those first few punches out of your system, kind of let the adrenaline work its way out and get your body back to a normal state. Once you get there, your hands relax, everything else kind of takes shape, and you can get back to business as usual. But right now, things are a little bit emotional for both sides.
So here's Federico. Off to Sagal. The Lions will reset it up top on the stick of James Tucci. Tucci, the senior midi, down the alley. Pass in front, knocked down. Good collapse by the defense once again. Now the battle for the loose ball is on. Ground ball warfare, and coming away with it are the Dalers of Farmingdale. Tyler Ward. Ward now off to Prendergast. Prendergast tries to get that right hand free. Fires a shot and it sails wide. Prendergast has been active early. The Towson-bound senior, he can play.
You see Tuttle earlier making the drive. That's actually a shot that ends up on the stick of Corey Hendrickson. Tuttle trying to sneak it through. And that there's going to be a pass, Jim. That's going to go back over to West Islip as Torrey's going to pick that ball up on the end line.
Farmingdale doing a good job on the ground balls early. 10-4 advantage. And now West Islip. 6.5 minutes into this game. Still looking for their first goal. Now they turn it over at midfield. Chasing it down is Kevin Wall. Kevin Wall now slides a pass inside. Here's Tuttle. 2-on-1 for the Daler. Sally to the goal. Off the pipe again. He's got 2 already in the first quarter to go along with his goal. Hendrickson now tries to turn and fire. Good defense that time by Kyle Carrick.
Good defense by Carrick there off the turn by Hendrickson. But then as the ball's gone, you get a little push after the whistle, or after the ball's gone rather, and they're going to give the ball back to Farmingdale. Great push up the field in transition by Tuttle there. 2-on-1, makes the right choice, goes to the goal, and he's unlucky again hitting the post.
So the Dalers, they want to run with Sally Tuttle. Push the tempo. Tuttle now looking to turn inside. Fires a shot. Does not get there. Now off the loose ball, nicely picked up by Anthony Santos. Santos had a big year for West Islip on defense.
And he did it again there. Nice job by Santos, gets the turnover, ends up in a stick of Kyle Turry. Offensive possession for the Lions.
Well, it's those ground balls picked up by your poles, and a guy like Santo that gives your offense opportunities. So Anthony, and now here's Tommy Moore. Mike Diggle. He'll give way and they'll reset it onto the stick of Moore. Moore, just a junior. Drew Federico. His energy always seems to drive the bus here for the Lions. Federico. Little flip inside to Aponte. Aponte, the young gun, just a sophomore.
Interesting matchup, Jim, when you talk about the West Islip offense against the Farmingdale defense.
Connor Bradish now gets loose. Connor Bradish is smoked on the inside. Perettine with a big hit. And it'll go to Farmingdale. Mike Perettine, senior midi, next year head off to West Point. He's going to Army. He transferred from Smithtown West, and Bob Hartrev said, we are glad to get him. His dad, Mike Sr., is one of Bob's assistants.
Going back to that matchup situation, the one I want to see, and we saw it earlier, is Joe Ostrander, number 50 for Farmingdale, against Drew Federico for West Islip. They like the matchup of Ostrander.
Here is Joe. He's got 6 on the season. Drops it off. Now off the loose change, Turry is out once again. Good hustle on the ground ball that time by Liam Burns. Now the Lions are in motion. Here they come. Nick Aponte will settle it. Little flip to Federico. Federico. And now Drew will pull it back out.
What it appears they're doing, Farmingdale, in sign of complete respect for Drew Federico, when they can't get Ostrander on him, they're shutting him off and denying him the ball. So if they can't get their big guy on West Islip's big guy, they'd rather shut him off and take him out of the play.
Firing a shot inside was Bradish. It'll stay with West Islip. Connor Bradish, great senior season. Over 40 points for Connor. West Islip has seen Farmingdale come out with a sense of purpose here. Physically, they are just moving good, the Taylors. So now Aponte turns back to his left hand. Aponte draws a pass inside. Opportunity and a goal. Mikey Sagal, the Quinnipiac-bound senior, fires it home. But the playmaker was the sophomore Aponte, and we are tied at 1.
Jim, I was just going to talk about how the West Islip offense seemed a little out of sync. And on cue, Nick Aponte finds that guy who works so well off the ball, Mike Sagal, doing what he's done for this West Islip team so many times. Gets his hands on a tough pass to catch, keeps those feet moving, makes that goal big, and puts it in for the 1-1 tie.
We see it time and time again out of Mike Sagal. His movement around the crease. Here's Aponte again. Puts it home. Oh, the sophomore has given West Islip the lead. Nicky Aponte. And they grow up fast in West Islip. Aponte on the JV a year ago. Scotty Craig said when he came in this year as a sophomore, I said, it's his time. He pulled him up, and it has paid off.
This is putting a sophomore in a big spot. West Islip's able to win the draw out. You see the battle on it there with Connor Bradish. And there goes Aponte right down the middle. No one goes to him. Nice overhand shot. Not too much on it, but well placed. You see Aponte get through. The little overhand bouncer. Gets off the carpet, finds that top corner, gives the Lions a 2-1 lead.
They knew he was good, but Nick Aponte has exceeded the expectations of this West Islip staff in his 10th grade year. Here he is once again. And you could just see, after a long sophomore season, he's got a bit of a confident way about him out there.
When you talk about it at the college level, this time of year a freshman is no longer a freshman. He's been through it, he's been through the big games. You know, Nick Aponte is not a sophomore anymore. He's got his whole sophomore season under his belt. Think about how many sophomores are done for the year. He's still playing. He's essentially a junior at this point.
His 20th game of the season, this will be for Nick Aponte, as West Islip comes in 19-0. Connor Bradish now. Look at Connor taking a look at this defense. Connor turns back, left hand, spins it up top. Sagal was looking to load up. Great work defensively. Pushing the ball forward is Kevin Wall. Kevin Wall is having a big first quarter. Wall, a dynamic athlete.
Jim, good job by Wall, but then on the other end of that play, a very smart play by the West Islip defense. Rather than touch that ball, they know it's off Farmingdale. It's going to get out of bounds on its own. Don't touch it and risk getting checked and having the ball go out of bounds. Let it roll over the line and take possession back for your team.
Now Mike Diggle jogs it up. Final minute now of the first quarter of this Long Island Championship. West Islip in the white, they are the two-time defending New York State Class A champs. They've won 4 of the last 5 New York State crowns, and they come in today riding a 40-game win streak. Diggle pushed off now. Little pass to the inside. Now Sagal goes to work. Sagal is sneaky strong with the ball on his stick. Not easy to push around. Johnny Reese now. And now Drew Federico, the captain, with a little burst down the seam. Here's Federico. Bounce shot goes wide. Sagal will back it up. And you can see Federico, he can change gears in a hurry.
Changes gears, changes directions, works his way in there, but the Dalers do just enough to get his hands tied up so he can't get himself free and pick that spot.
That was big for Farmingdale there because Federico had a wonderful look, and they still only trail by a single goal. Final seconds here, West Islip. Federico has it checked off his stick. Joey Dio will knock it down, and Ostrander will pick it up. The Dalers, who lost to Scotty Craig's club by 12 goals in this very same game a year ago, play a rock-solid first 12 minutes for their 42-year skipper, Bob Hartraft. This is the Long Island Championship. The winner moves on as a Long Island champ and plays in the state semifinal. Sally Tuttle opened the scoring, but the Lions would respond from Sagal and Nick Aplante. Second quarter is straight ahead.
The sounds of the spring are here on MSG Varsity.
Get ready for spring with a quick 60. Join Mike as he previews the top players to watch in girls and boys lacrosse and unveils the top 14 teams in the tri-state. Baseball and softball, boys and girls lacrosse. You never know what Mike will be swinging at this spring.
Tune in to find out.
Don't miss a quick 60, only on MSG Varsity. Another Optimum exclusive. Spring sports are back on MSG Varsity.
Shot, score!
And High School Sports Desk brings you 5 days of non-stop coverage. Monday Madness recaps the weekend with great highlights, scores, and top stories.
She'll slide in safely with a double.
Boys Lacrosse Tuesdays brings in-depth coverage with the players to watch and teams to beat.
Score!
Girls Lacrosse Wednesdays takes you around the tri-state for all the stories of the girls lacrosse season.
Shot to goal!
On Double Play Thursdays, we hit the diamond for great baseball and softball coverage.
Tough play.
And on High Five Fridays, we'll show you the 5 greatest plays from the week that was, and more. Total coverage of all your favorite sports in the tri-state area, all week long.
Oh, what a rocket!
On High School Sports Desk, only on MSG Varsity. Another Optimum exclusive.
Capacity crowd here has come to see the Lions of West Islip and the Dalers of Farmingdale. I shouldn't say capacity, but a real strong crowd. 2-1 West Islip after 12 minutes. What a matchup here at Stony Brook University. High marks for the Dalers in that first quarter, Pat. You know, listen, West Islip, they can beat you in a hurry.
They can do it from all different areas. They're so solid defensively. They can play the transition game. They can play the slow down game. But Farmingdale's no different. You know, we continue to refer back to last year, and you know that West Islip team was a team for the ages. And all of these Farmingdale kids are back from a year ago. So today will be a different story.
Mike Diggle now. Diggle now goes strong. Diggle shoots one. Picked out of the air beautifully by Joe Ostrander. He is impressive. The Towson-bound senior defender. Here comes Joe now. He's got 11 points on the season. An offensive-minded defender, as good as they come.
It shows you the skill set of Joe Ostrander. That ball's hanging in the air as we see a good look on the backside to Tuttle that I believe was deflected by the West Islip defense. And the official has the call, so it'll stay with Farmingdale.
Sally T.
But the skill set of Ostrander to get a one-handed play with a 6-foot pole on that ball and then carry it up the field, touch it in the box, and get possession for his team. He can do a lot of things, and Towson's going to find a lot of ways to use those skills in their game plan.
Now here's Sal, brings it in. Pat Stark. Stark, senior middies, had a big year on both the gridiron for Buddy Krumenacker and now lacrosse. Stark now fires one home. Pat Stark ties this game at 2. From standing still to explosive, Pat Stark. Beautifully done right there. Underrated player in Pat Stark. He is a warrior.
Well, Pat Stark doesn't stop working, Jim. You know, he's one of those guys, he'll make plays up and down the field. You know, he's a loose ball guy. But here, he just keeps those feet driving. He's able to get top side on Mike Diggle. Diggle's pushing him out. You see Stark get a little separation where he can get his hands free. He makes that turn, he puts it in. But it looks like Farmingdale's trying to recognize matchups now and isolate them and attack in one-on-one situations.
Big hit off the draw. This will be a penalty now against Perettine. Jumping up is Connor Bradish.
You see Perettine coming off the wing, and he gets him high. He's got that stick up, gets around the head area, and if there's one area, and we've talked about it all year, Jim, if there's one area that the officials are trying to protect these young players, it's up around the head. It's been a point of emphasis on the high school, the youth, and the college level as well, that we have to protect these young athletes and be careful about head injuries, and the officials will make a call here. The change in the officiating is now officials are at their own discretion on how they want to call this, whether it be 1 minute, 2, or 3 in an unreleasable or a releasable fashion.
Wow, it's going to be 3 if you can read the fingers. Unreleasable. Well, it's an egregious, unnecessary roughness call against Mike Perettine, against really a defenseless player in Connor Bradish. Never saw him coming. The name of the game is personal safety. They want everybody to walk off the field at the end of these games, and that was a flagrant foul.
And that's one, Jim, if he puts his shoulder into Bradish's chest, it's a different call. It may still be a penalty because he is defenseless, as you mentioned, but when you get the hands up and you get that stick around the head, the officials are going to err on the side of caution, and we're going to see a long extra man here for West Islip.
It is a 2-minute penalty, not a 3, a 2. And Farmingdale gets just what they needed. Ostrander gets pushed, and that'll be a call with possession. So look at Joe doing the job again. Coach Hartwell comes down the line to give his senior defender a pat on the back.
Again, it all starts with Ostrander stick in the passing lane. You see the strength as he's able to run away from Bradish. Gets another step on him. Bradish pushes him from behind. Sends Ostrander going forward. And Ostrander's effort is able to get the on-field manpower even for what will probably be about 45 seconds until that penalty's over. Probably a 30-second push with possession. West Islip will still be extra man at the end of that.
But it certainly changes the complexion of a 2-minute unreleasable penalty. Ostrander's effort, most importantly, gives his Dalers possession of the ball now. And you'll see them try and use some clock.
And Jim, with some of the explosive dodgers, that Farmingdale has, this 5-on-5 situation creates a lot more open space and gives these guys a little bit more room to operate.
Craig Catalano scored the game winner against Massapequa. Flips it off now to Pat Stark. A moment ago, tied this game at 2.
Now the extra man is over. The penalty for West Islip is over, and now West Islip has to make the decision. Do we chase for the next 50 seconds and try to get it back? And here you see the double team.
There is the double team. Ball goes onto the carpet. Beautifully done by the Lions. That was Kyle Carrick and Nick Aponte. So good job defensively to get the ball back for Scotty Craig's club. I said that Scott Craig's bunch was 6-0 in their last 6 Long Island championships. Correction on that one, they're 6 of 7. Syosset beat West Islip in 2008. Statman Joe G giving me the heads up on that one. Good, outstanding coach like John Calabria. I don't want to give any misinformation.
That's good.
Farmingdale sees this game tied at 2, but Sally Tuttle, he has a goal and 2 pipes. That can be frustrating.